birthday. He was a
We are
Marine.
just getting ready to start.
Joe's coming. He had a meeting and he's just getting out of his meeting and he's coming now. Ken, you're muted.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. This open meeting of the CPC is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the CPC is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all members are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Good morning. I would like to call to order, since we have a quorum, call to order the meeting of the Community Preservation Committee on Tuesday, November 14th at 9 a.m. This is the second round of deliberations, and I would ask for approval of the agenda which has been circulated. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Second. All those in favor by roll call? Neville? Mark?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Eleanor?
Aye.
Diane?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Tom? And
You got me. Aye. Yep.
And the chair votes aye. Did I catch everybody?
Looks like it. Joe's not here yet.
Okay. Okay, let's then proceed to discussion with respect to the first item on the agenda, which is the hospital thrift shop.
Do you have to read that speech, Mr. Chairman?
I did.
Oh, that was short. I wish I got that short one.
No. I read the whole speech.
Wow, it went by a lot quicker than the one I have. Wow.
Thanks for keeping it brief, Ken.
The first item on the agenda is the hospital thrift shop. Neville. You're muted. Neville, you're muted.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we fund the hospital thrift shop for the total amount.
Is there a second motion before I recognize Linda?
I'll second.
Second by Mark. For discussion, Linda?
The only thing I want to say here, and I don't know if anybody else has been through the same thing that I have with this thing. I would make a motion to fully fund everybody except for, and give whatever's left in that section of open space recreation to the paddle tennis. I mean, the pickleball, the racket club. Because that, to me, that seems to be the easiest and quickest way out is to fully fund everybody else. And about 500,000 is left for the pickleball, the racket club, and not fund Linda Loring. They have enough funding. I love Linda Loring. I love their mission. Did some digging around, and even some of their past people have said that they have more than enough money to cover that. So if we didn't pay for that and we gave the rest of it, which is about 500,000, to the racket club, we can cut to the chase pretty quickly instead of going through laboriously every single one of them. I don't know how anybody else feels about that.
Eleanor, you raised your hand.
I do not want to do that. I'd like to go through some discussion. I know that Mariah Mitchell and St. Mary's said that they had some things that they could limit on their Mariah Mitchell, I'm sorry, not Mariah Mitchell. NHA, excuse me. They're asking for $1.2 million total, and they could limit, I think it was 23,000. I could have that wrong. Glenna can correct me. I feel that we gave them a lot of money last year. This is a lot. If we can reduce a little bit, and I also think it's worth discussing some of these. I don't want to do a blanket motion. I'm against that.
I'm with you, Eleanor. I think we should just, there are a couple here, one that I want to discuss.
Well, that makes, I think that makes sense for us to be able to go through that because that's the purpose of what we're getting together from. So perhaps we should start with the ones on the agenda and discuss each one in order. Is that everyone comfortable with that?
Yep.
Thumbs up. Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the hospital thrift shop, which is for funding for the full amount requested of $21,000. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing no hands up, I will then go roll call to see whether or not there's a positive or a negative. Neville?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Diane? Eleanor?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye.
I'm an aye too.
Thank you. Okay. The next item for then discussion is the Mariah Mitchell Association Conservation of the Historic Vestal Street Observatory for the amount of $167,860. $167,060.
I'll make a motion to fully fund them.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Eleanor? You're
Aye.
muted. Tom,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Next is the request for the Nantucket Athenaeum, restoration of the historic ships models collection for $12,000. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to fully fund them.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor, Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Eleanor,
You're muted.
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Next is the motion for the Athenaeum. Historic,
No. The
Cemetery.
cemetery, we already did the
oh,
Athenaeum.
sorry, Nantucket Cemetery Commission for $150,000. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to fully fund them.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, sorry.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Joe,
He's here.
you are just, okay, we are in on the part of the agenda where we are approving the funding requests. We've approved two so far, four so far. And the next one is remain on behalf of the Folger Block Condominium Trust. The requested amount is $11,000. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll make that motion to fully fund them.
Motion by Linda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like the records to reflect that I abstained from this vote. My family has an interest in this block.
Okay. So noted. All those
It's
in favor?
recused, Tim, not abstain, it's recused.
Thank you, Linda. I'd like the records to reflect that I recused from this vote.
Record would so reflect. Thank you. All those in favor? Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Diane? Eleanor?
She said aye, but she's muted.
Yeah. Eleanor?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Tim?
Abstain?
Recused.
Recused.
Recused?
Joe?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
The chair votes aye.
Change the page.
Nantucket, next is the. Sorry. Okay, next is the Preservation Institute Main Street Streetscapes request for $50,000.
I'll make that motion to fully fund them.
Motion made by Linda, is there a second?
Second.
second,
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, by roll call, Neville,
No.
Tom,
Aye.
Mark,
I'm gonna vote aye, but I want to make sure that we are clear. This is a one-time. It's a town job, but this is historic preservation for just this one purpose and not no construction involved in this, just survey. Aye.
Diane,
aye,
Eleanor,
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Linda
I voted aye. You didn't ask me.
Okay.
Aye.
and Tom,
Yes. Aye.
that carries unanimously.
No. I voted nay.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
I voted
Neville,
no.
you voted no. Okay,
Yes.
next is Town of Nantucket, West Monomoy.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Well, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Diane,
aye,
Eleanor,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Joe,
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 I said aye. Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
yes. Linda,
aye.
and chair votes aye. Next is Nantucket Community Service Landmark House.
I'll make that motion for fully funding.
Is there a second?
Second.
second,
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Diane,
aye,
Eleanor,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
chair votes aye. Next is St. Mary's.
I'll make that motion to fully fund them. And we're talking about the church here first, right?
That's the, yes.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
The rest is for $264,899.20. Is
So moved.
there a second?
second,
Discussion?
I would just want to point out that Steve Hollister was kind enough to give us, just in case we want to take this into account, consideration for the superseding of the I'm looking at the email that Glenna forwarded us on November 7th. He can confirm that the request of 718,991 for the rectory would supersede the 264 for the church. I don't know if we want to take that into consideration. It's just under $1 million, the total request. So I think it didn't seem to indicate that they could parse out things from the church. Some portion of the church, it seemed to be more difficult for him to separate out the different things that they're doing in the church. But just want to know people to remember that he did offer us that option as he was requested.
Is you raising your hand, Neville?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Yes, he did send that in, and I kind of agreed with it. If he can, if he had a choice between one or the other, they would do the rectory as opposed to the church right now. Because and they will do the rectory as opposed to the church, and also if they did the rectory, if we couldn't afford to fund them for the total amount, they will need most of the money for the rectory. They can, they'll still be able to do that. But if they have a choice between the two, if you don't have the funds, they'll prefer the rectory before the church. And I think it's something that we should maybe consider. And I don't know if you're doing that now, but to call it like something that we can come back to after we are finished with our funding to see how much money we have before we fund the church, to see if we have enough money for that. I'm just throwing that out.
Linda, you've raised your hand.
My problem is that I know we have the money for it, but if you want to hold this one, if you want to withdraw the second, I think we need to go through the exercise first, add them up, and then see if we don't have the money. So I did make a motion, but I can withdraw it.
You're presuming we have the money for what you want. You said you don't want to support Linda Loring and a partial for the NRSA of the 4 million, almost 5, that's 4.4 that's being requested. Do we have that? If we want to fund everything totally,
No, that's what I said. That we're about 500,000 short. I just checked with Brian about 2 minutes ago, and he hasn't gotten any update from the state yet as to where we are coming from the state. So we're working with that 38,750, I think.
Which therefore is not funding for everything being requested at the amounts being requested. So that's the reason I say it's important to consider. Maybe we take St. Mary's and then subsequent, the other one that said they had portions they could eliminate into consideration.
Mark?
I would suggest that the motion maker and seconder withdraw, even though I support this. We withdraw, and I think one of our bottom lines will be the Historical Association and the Racket Club. Those are the big asks, as well as St. Mary's, the rectory ask. So I think let's get by some of the bigger ones that we know are up for discussion at least. So that'll be my suggestion.
Do you want me to withdraw the whoever seconded, but you want us to withdraw our motion and second on the rectory, and the church for the moment?
It'll be my suggestion, yes.
Diane, you seconded?
Yes,
Linda, will you withdraw the motion then?
For
I
now,
would,
all right?
Yes, for now. That's
Okay,
but we are funding the rectory, right?
But we haven't
That's the next
gotten there
vote.
yet.
Next.
That's the next one.
that's the next one.
I'll make a motion to fully fund the rectory.
Second,
Any discussion with respect to that?
No, it's a need.
Desperate.
Need. We don't need
Okay, all
one.
those in favor, Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
aye.
Diane,
Aye,
Eleanor,
aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye, but for the record, I'm a prisoner. Just want to make that on the record. Thank you.
Me as well. I don't know if that's relevant.
that is not a disqualifier.
Yeah, as Linda said, everybody's member of some church.
Linda,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, next. Nantucket Historical Association.
The old mill.
Motion
Yeah.
to fully fund.
I'll make a motion to fully fund the old mill. It's time.
That
Second.
wasn't on the agenda next.
That's what I've got on my list.
It's
about the
have
candle?
Trelawney
Oh,
Oil.
the candle factory.
Yeah,
Oh, I have that one afterwards. Okay, I'll make a motion to fully fund the candle factory.
Second.
is there a second? Discussion with respect to that. Who seconded it?
Eleanor.
Eleanor,
Any discussion with respect to that? Hearing none. All those in favor, roll call. Evel,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Linda,
aye.
and chair votes aye. Next item is the
Mill.
the
Now we
NHA,
go to the mill.
the restoration of the old mill with request for $272,925.
I'll
Is
make,
there a
I'll make a
positive-
motion to fund it with taking into consideration the letter to Ken dated October 31st, in which Niles says that they can limit the budget by, I believe it's $20,844. Not a lot less, but it's something. NHA, we gave them $609,000 last year. We know they're well endowed. I feel if we can pare off a little bit here, they can find internal funding. It's not that I'm against the project. Obviously, I think ADA interpretive shed is really important. But I think if we can pare off that small amount, given that they've allowed that can be done without jeopardizing everything, I would make a motion to approve it with that. But the budget amount, I don't know what the math is exactly, but
Is there a second to that motion?
I'm not sure what the amount is here.
I'm,
Help me.
I'm not is, and I'm not sure which part of it is. I can't remember what he said they could eliminate, because I'm not
You
willing
want
to
me to read it
eliminate
into the
ADA.
record? I can read it. It's, if this project being regarding the old mill, if this project cannot be fully funded, we believe that we can find a different approach to the track, stone cleaning and reset work noted in the proposed budget for $20,844. While this alternate approach might take more time to complete, we could possibly bring that work in-house and tackle it with NHA staff over time. Lastly, we could delay the construction of the ADA interpretive shed and the interactive exhibit. While we feel this is an extremely important component of the project in order to provide some measure of increased accessibility and information about the historic mill, we could prioritize it in subsequent years or attempt to find another source of support. This is currently noted in the budget with a $55,000 cost, 47,000 of which is being requested from the CPC grant. I would vote to keep that in, but remove the $20,844 for track stone cleaning.
Is there a second to that motion?
Dies for lack of second, maybe?
I'll second that for discussion.
Linda, raise your hand.
I'm not willing to parse out the old mill at all. It's in need of all kinds of stuff, let alone the sales and everything to be rebuilt to get it moving. It's visited a lot, and I think it needs to be all done at one time and get this project done. Once we give them the full funding, they're not coming back for anything up there. So I think it's time for that mill to just get itself all done. This is not one of those projects I want to see personally parsed out. And they don't have a lot of money. I've already been over it. I do all their work for them for free as a life member, one of the only ones still alive from the 70s. And I know their funding, and I know how many properties they have to keep up, and they're in the process of fixing a lot of them. So it takes a lot to keep up all the properties that they have stewardship of. So they're not rolling in that kind of money at the moment because of pandemic lessened the amount of stuff that was being donated, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to get into the minutia here, but I'm not willing to drop them at all. I understand they've generously said that they could do without certain things. I'm certainly not willing, I know she took that off the table, but I'm certainly not willing not to provide handicap accessibility for their full experience up there. They've needed that shed. We did this over at the old mill, at the jail. We funded a shed for there, because you can't get into the old jail if you're disabled, period. And they did that interpretive shed. So I think it's time for that to be up there also. So
That's left in. I didn't take that off. as you
I
said.
know, that's what I'm saying, but I don't want to parse out anything else off this project. So no, I am not in favor of dropping $20,844. It needs to be done. It needs to get over with. And we have the money to do it. So that's my opinion.
Make the motion.
Oh, I'll make a motion to fully fund them if that's where we are.
We are,
No, I think there's already a motion on the table, though.
It wasn't seconded.
was
Oh,
not
all right.
seconded.
Oh, no, it was. Tom seconded for discussion. Sorry.
Yes, you did.
Okay, what's the motion that's on the,
To drop the 20,844.
No,
To fund
Mr.
that.
Chairman,
Neville?
the motion is to fund it completely, and in the discussion, it was mentioned to drop to 20,000.
No, that's not my,
We're still in the discussion, is that
that was
right?
not my motion. My
No,
motion
it's
was
not.
funded
Yeah.
at 272,925 minus the 20, sorry, I gotta find it again. Minus the $20,844. So I guess we had to vote on that. And then,
No, excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
Neville?
was there a motion to completely fund this and it was seconded?
No,
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 It was out of order, Neville. There was already a motion on the table.
how do you want to handle this? I don't know how anybody else feels, but I'm not willing to vote for that motion to
have
drop
to
that
vote on it, that's
amount.
all. Vote for, it's 252,081 is the amount that would be funded per my motion. We just have to vote on that and then we'll get another motion.
May I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
yes, Tim.
Through you to Eleanor, if I could. Eleanor, is there a specific, the money that you're trying to pull from different requests? Do you have a goal in mind, an end game that we could know, and it might help us understand what you're trying to do? Or are you just thinking that that project is not worthy? That
no.
part of the
Not at all lack of worthiness. I know I fully support, I would like to be able to fully support absolutely everything for 4 million, et cetera. Honestly, that's my end goal. We don't even have that precise amount of money for Linda's research, and thank you for doing that, Linda. I just want to, I want to have an open mind about, I won't be able to vote on one of the items in open space and affordable housing, but people come back year after year, and the NHA has got $609,000 last year, and they're asking for $1.2 million this year. And I just feel like, I think they can probably find the internal funding for a $20,000 project. That's my angle. I'm just trying not to, 1.2 million is what they're asking for in total. And yes, Linda, you're right. I know it costs a tremendous amount of money to preserve and maintain and upgrade these buildings. And I support that in general, but I think just like in family budgeting, if there are areas that you can trim realistically and justifiably, I think it's not a bad thing to take into consideration. I won't be offended if people don't support my motion. I just want to put that out there for discussion.
Linda?
Well, let's just take a vote and we'll see what happens. If it votes down, I'll make a motion to fully fund it.
Let's vote.
Okay, can you repeat the motion, please?
I make a motion to fund the project for the restoration of the old mill at an amount of $252,081, which takes away the per Niles Parker letter of October 31, takes away the track, stone cleaning, and reset work for the old mill at a value of $20,844.
And that was seconded. All those in favor?
Can I ask one question, Mr. Chairman, to Eleanor first?
Yes.
The the cleaning, isn't that the path to the, isn't that the stuff, the rocks that are around the building?
Yes,
I'm assuming, yeah, track stone.
I don't-
paving.
All right, I can't imagine why we wouldn't do that. That's okay. Just go ahead and vote.
Well, he says they could possibly bring that work in-house and tackle it with NHA staff over time. So this is something he offers up.
Over time, that's what bothers me. Okay, I'm gonna vote against it. Go ahead.
You
Okay.
have to take the votes now.
Yeah, okay. Vote in favor of the motion. I'll go by roll call. Neville,
No,
Mark,
no,
Diane,
No.
Eleanor,
Yeah, aye. The
Tom,
lone vote.
Aye.
Tim,
No,
Joe,
No.
Linda.
No,
Chair votes no. There's not,
I'll
is
make a motion to fully fund it.
there a second
second,
by Mark? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Neville,
aye.
aye,
Diane,
Aye.
Eleanor,
No,
Tom,
Aye.
Tim,
aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Linda.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Okay. No. Okay. Next item on the agenda. The right, pardon? South Church Preservation Fund.
I'll make a motion to fully fund that one.
Second,
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor by roll call, Neville,
aye.
Mark,
aye,
Diane,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Eleanor,
aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Next is Nantucket Interfaith.
I'll make a motion to fully fund them.
I'll second.
Just for your information, according to Glenna, they still have funding from last year that they have not touched yet.
that's curious.
Right?
The reason why that
curious.
happened, I believe, I think Janice said the reason, Tom, I don't know what Tom can do with this, but the reason why he can't represent in front of his own board. I believe they got some money from someplace else that they still hadn't used. Tom, you can shake your head, nod your head, and
Yeah, she
they
explained
ended
it
up with
during
a
the
little
meeting.
bit more. Yeah. So
Yeah.
she explained why that was the case. And it was a very unusual situation because in years past, they asked for a lot less money over time, and we kept telling her to ask for more every year because they're the only one in affordable housing category this year. And they usually run out of money like in March or April, before they get the new infusion of cash on July 1. So it was just sort of an unusual occurrence, but it's not normal. Joe, do you remember what Janice said?
Basically, like, she's using the funds now, but once we distribute the money to her organization, they'll need that money immediately. So,
Yeah,
was
and then she doesn't get this money until July 1 next year. So that's not going to last long.
no, this was a bridge, from what it
Yeah.
sounded like to me, my understanding.
Neville?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I know we had, at least I had at least, encouraged her a couple of years ago to just to ask for more because they were running out of money in the past. Now, this, as a result of them getting fully funded this time and last time, they have this money left over. But what has also happened, their needs have increased. And I know that when what I like about them, I'm just speaking as a proletariat, one of the consumers, another consumer, but people who know how they operate. when something happened, they need the money right away. If I would say that we should look at it if it happens next year, if they have money left over next year, I think is when we should really look into maybe cutting back. But I don't think this is the right time right now because there's a big increase in the needs of the community for the services that they render.
Linda, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I have to second what Neville said because I specifically asked her, do you ever foresee the need going down? And she said, no, it's going to increase because rents have increased. And we have to put 405,000 into this category as it is. So we're going to have a chunk of change in reserve for next year. Just want to remind everybody that we have to put 405,000 into this category and she's asking for 360. So just put it in context here.
Okay. Eleanor, you had your hand up.
Just in support of everything that's been said so far, I was at a sort of a work group yesterday for security, and the need is just astronomical, and it's definitely not going to decrease. There's something like, Tom, correct me, I probably misremembering, like 45% of the school population is getting, lunch, but what is it called? Breakfast buddies or whatever.
Yeah, free or reduced lunch.
Free or reduced lunch, and then the percentages are frightening. So the need is absolutely there. Whatever money they seem to have left over for whatever logistical financial reasons, I'm sure it'll be gone in a nanosecond. I mean, what people were telling us from different stakeholders in the food security system is gone here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah. I did make a motion in a second, right? Lost
Yeah.
track of that. Okay.
On Linda's motion, all those in favor, say, Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Tom,
Recuse as I am
Recused.
employee of the council.
Tim,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Linda,
Me, I'm,
Aye.
and Diane.
Whoever, yeah.
I,
And
Whoever the
Chair
Zoom user is on here needs to go mute, please,
Or add their name.
or
We
take
need
them
to
off,
know who Zoom user is, please,
or they need to come off.
or we will remove you.
what's the matter?
Whoever
might be
Zoom user
Diane.
is needs to come off. No,
think
Diane's
it's-
on her own page.
No, because it said Diane Coombs is connecting to audio, so I think it might be her.
Oh,
I'm-
okay.
Looks like she's still connecting over there on her little thing.
Yeah, so I think she might have logged off and back in or something. That's what happened.
There she goes.
She's Zoom user.
Okay. And
Uh,
I think chair votes aye, so I think that motion passes. Next item on the agenda.
I would like to recuse from this, please.
Who is this?
Which one?
The next item on the agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Rep-
myself as well.
Who have recused?
Eleanor and Tom.
Eleanor and Tom.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mark.
I would advise that this is gonna, if we approve it as printed, it'll probably put us, not probably, it will put us over the amount we have to spend. I would suggest we deal with Linda Loring and then come back to this one and see what the funds are still available and if we want to fund it fully or partially, and then we may have to go back and pick and choose. So we've already allocated a lot of money so far, and I support it all. But I would suggest we do with Linda Loring and then go back to this one.
Okay.
And then we
every-
also have to
everybody-
go back to the church, the Catholic Church. So don't forget about that one.
Neville?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you for calling on me. We have that and the Catholic Church and the rectory, and I agree with that suggestion.
No, we did the rectory, Neville. It's the
did the
Catholic
rectory.
Church we're done. We haven't done.
Correct.
Okay. So let's vote on the Linda Loring request.
Chairman?
Yes, Neville.
I just want to get this clear. This is our, call it our second round, but it's really our first round for deliberation. I thought it was said that even though we have agreed on all these fundings, if we go back again and if we see where we are needing funds or we are lacking funds, we can go back and open up any one of these things that we have.
That is correct. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct.
Yes, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to fund the Linda Loring project.
Second,
Second,
Second, discussion.
I'd like to just point out that, Linda Williams was concerned that, they have an endowment fund and can afford to do it themselves. If that's gonna be our policy, we should, rethink Mariah Mitchell, the Athenaeum, the Historical Association, all have endowment funds. So I think it's not logical to just because someone's got an endowment fund to say we shouldn't be funding them. I know they have plenty of money, but NHA, they don't have plenty of money, but they all have funds in the till. They could fund them and strip their endowment funds. I don't want to see them do that. And Linda Loring provides a wonderful educational and environmental service to our island. So I think, and they're asking for 90 some thousand. I think that's a worthy project.
I would just like to point out that we need to consider these individual on the circumstances presented to us. The points that you're making, Mark, are really valid. And I think that people can take into consideration the factors they want, but we need to make an independent judgment with respect to the particular request as respects the availability and of our funding as opposed to some other sources of funding.
We're talking
Linda?
about Linda Loring now, right?
We are, yeah. Linda and then Tim.
The only reason I suggested we not is that we give the more money to the Racket Club because they're funded by their people. And Linda Loring, as great as it is, and it's fantastic, and I applaud that. They sold their house for billions of dollars. They've got a big fund. It's not like they have a bunch of buildings they have to keep up, et cetera, et cetera. This is pretty much just a support of their efforts out there for, open space preservation kind of thing and accessibility. So I look at them a little differently when they have more than enough resources, not that big a staff. They don't have to maintain those hundreds of acres. I look at them a little differently than the other organizations that solely rely on donations, solely rely on dwindling church populations, have historic structures that are not easy to keep up and need maintenance, need to be restored, especially like the rectory. So that's why I'm looking at them a little differently, because I'd rather take that money knowing that they can come up with it tomorrow and give it to the Racket Club, who can't come up with it tomorrow necessarily because they're not that type of an organization. That was my only thinking on how to reapportion what's coming out of open space recreation. Not because I didn't support them, didn't think they're doing a great job. I look at their resources and their information, and they have a mammoth ability, more so than anybody else on this list, of doing it themselves. And that 90,000 would make a big difference to the Racket Club. So that's the reason why I was thinking about that.
Tim and then Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess for a lot of the logic that Linda uses not to fund them would be the logic I use to fund them. They come before us quite often, the Linda Loring Foundation, but they're always very modest requests. They've never come to us for huge money. They seem to be very respectful of the process and the amount of money that we have to give. And I just think that it's a wonderful organization, and their mission fits well with I think what a lot of people's vision of open space in Nantucket is. And I think we should fund it. And to not fund this and put it into the Racket Club, I understand that logic too. I would like to fund the Racket Club in full, but I think this year we can't do that. And if you want to talk about the amount of money that is available and the amount of money we've given the Racquet Club, it's gonna push it well over $1 million this year, whatever we give them. So I think we can do both and not feel like we let the Racquet Club down.
Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I see both Linda and Tim's points. I am kind of struggling with this because, you know, everything I'm reading is, you know, restoration, rehab, etc. And I feel like this is, you know, a nice project. I'm not going to say it's a bad one, but I don't think it's a necessity where everything else is a need. They need this money for this. And I don't feel like this is something that is needed, you know, could be next year they come back for the money. I really like what they're doing, but I think that the racquetball should be, you know, as much funding as possible. I think that services more of the community. I think that Sarah Boyce and the, you know, and the Linda Loring Foundation probably say, we're just going to do it. So I'm not for this at this moment. So thank you.
Tim, then Diane, then Neville.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I forgot to lower my hand. Sorry about that.
Diane?
I think that we should. What's so bad?
You got two open mics there, Diane.
Hang up your phone.
I don't. Wait a minute, sorry. Take somebody else while I think.
Glenna can mute one of you, I think. One of those things.
There. What the hell's the matter with?
Where's Zoom goes bad?
She's got two things open.
Now she got,
Now try it.
yeah, we can't hear her now. She's totally muted.
They're both muted now.
She needs to X out.
Oh my God. Diane, you have your phone and your tablet open.
My phone isn't even on.
You might have two apps.
Take
Can
somebody
Glenna,
else. While I fix this, take somebody else.
We've muted her.
no, she's only muted on one. She's still on, there you go. Somebody can remove one of hers for her and it would work.
Yeah, she has to log off of either Zoom user or the other one. They interfere even when they're muted. Crazy.
Okay. Didn't someone else have their hand up or wanted to talk about this? Didn't Neville? I think Neville had his hand up.
Yes, Neville had his hand up.
You calling on me now, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Linda Loring Foundation, they've been coming to us since 2006. And from what I agree with what Tim says, they don't come with any kind of outrageous thing. They're very moderate and very thing. We have been funding this open space recreational item since before we knew that open space and recreation got together. In case anybody don't know, from the very beginning, it was just open space. When we added recreation, that's where I believe Nantucket was the first one to do it. When we added recreation, whereas we can fund all the park and rec projects. This is a place that gets used by the public. I don't think the request is very unreasonable. I think over the past, since 2006, we've given them something in the area of like 700 and something thousand. It's not a lot, but what they give back to the community, the whole area was a gift to the community. And I think it's important for us to support this type of thing that comes as a gift to our community to be used for forever and ever. I think this is a very good project. And I think it's considering what we have coming up and the other funding that we have, we've made, this is a modest amount. So I would like to fund this completely.
Diane?
Yes, hi. I feel that the Linda Loring place is our prime open space for the whole west of the island. And it calls people there to go through it, which is quite spectacular as compared to what we're losing on the other part of the island. And I think this has to be maintained. Two of the three of the little buildings they thought had to be done, but a friend who lives with me just was out there on Sunday for a walk through the new place that they have plowed and taken care of. I think this is one of our major points of what we do, is to maintain the open space of what Nantucket is supposed to be, historic island. And where pickleball is very important, but it's not very historical. So I would like to put in a thing for the historical growth of the west part of this island and keep it open for people to go there. Thank you.
Other comments? What is the pleasure of the committee?
Let's vote.
We don't have a motion to fully fund it yet, do we?
I
No,
would like to make a motion to fully fund it.
No,
We don't.
no, I think I did. I think I
I
did.
thought so.
Kim made a
Tim
motion to
did.
fully fund.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And I
Okay,
seconded it.
Neville
sorry,
seconded.
sorry.
So a vote on the motion to fully fund. Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Joe,
Nay.
Linda,
no,
Diane.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries to fully fund.
can we get a total up to now, because the two remaining are the racket club and the church? Can we get a total from anybody who's got a great calculator?
Which church did not we fund?
St.
The
Mary's.
Catholic Church so far.
Well, I mean, which part of it? The rectory or the church?
No, the
Church.
rectory got funded. The church is the one that was left out so far.
Mr. Chairman,
Neville,
didn't you say that we can go back and open the church back up, or open the
Yes.
rectory back up again?
yes,
If we wanted?
yes.
Thank you. That's the one that we voted to fund, and I'd like to open it back up.
Can I just answer?
Can I get a total first, please, Mr. Chairman?
$3,215,992.50.
Oh, no, you went too fast. How much was that?
I'm sorry.
What was it?
Without the church, St. Mary's Church, and before you discuss the NRSA.
With the
request,
rectory?
No, this doesn't include the rectory. It does include the rectory because we did vote on that.
Does
so
include the rectory.
It does include the rectory, okay? So, but
Uh-huh.
we have not discussed or voted on the church. So minus the church and the NRSA request, we have allocated $3,215,992.50.
215,000.
All right, so,
Three
and what did I say we had? 3875?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, what does that
600
leave?
600,000, give or take.
I'd like to give and take. I'd like to know that number. So can you, Eleanor, subtract the, that amount from 3875? I think we just lost her.
We did.
Anybody else have a
Mm.
calculator?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Right, here she's back. Eleanor,
Yes,
Can
I'm
you
sorry.
subtract the 3875 with that number? What's that?
3875,
Minus their number.
660,000 and $659,007, roughly.
Wait a minute, You're
One
too
more time,
fast
Ellen?
again.
Sorry, $659,000 and $659 and $7
No 50 cents?
and 50 cents.
Thank you for that.
Okay,
got
so you
that.
have 659,000 to split between, theoretically, between the church and the racket club, which is why I didn't want to fund Linda Loring, but okay. So 659,000 between the two. And what did the church ask for?
$264,899.20.
Neville?
Okay,
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Going back to the church first, I want to ask a question. In the church, in their proposal, in both proposals, they had a fee for a project manager. Am I correct?
That is not fundable. That is not something that we can award.
I can't hear you, Mr. Chairman.
The fee for fund that you were just talking about.
I
that is
can't hear you, Mr.
that
Chairman.
we
I'm
would
sorry.
never fund.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I can't hear you.
The fee that you asked about is not something that we can fund, and that is in both proposals.
Right. So what I would like to do on the church and the rectory, which we have already, I'd like to open the rectory back up and minus the amount that they wanted for the fee for their project managers, I believe it was. Hold on.
They're asking for $32,500.30.
I can't hear you, Mr. Chairman. I'm
Ken, you
sorry.
need to talk into the microphone so we can hear you, please.
I'm sorry. On one of the one of the projects for the church, they're asking for the project management fee of $32,540.32, which is not fundable. And on the other, they're asking for $93,781.50. Again, also not fundable. In both instances, they are 15%, and they have also asked for a contingency fund in one of them for $5,423.39. And
What
the
is the
other-
contingency fund?
that's a contingency that they have in one of the proposals. There's no contingency in the other proposal. The contingencies are obviously not fundable.
Right.
What, Ken, was that included in their asking number?
Yes, it was included in the asking number. Absolutely correct, Mark.
So we ought to knock that out then.
That's
Right.
correct.
Good observation, Neville.
Thank you. But there should be, that's three figures, correct? That's the 93,000, 32,000, and I did not hear what the amount was in the contingency for one of the projects.
The contingency was only in one, and the amount was
Okay.
$5,000. The contingency was only in one, and it was $5,423.39.
Okay.
So may I ask, Ken?
which one are we talking about before we go any further?
Well, that's what I was trying
What
to
are we,
find.
what project is this?
St. Mary's,
The church?
the church.
Okay,
Callie, I'll have to call you back. I'm deep in a meeting. Okay.
so what are we trying to take out of the church? What figure was that?
And in church, the project management general contract consulting on the restoration of the rectory, the amount of the contingency was $93,781.50.
And
So
that's
that
the
means
rectory.
171. I'm doing
Not
that.
the 781.50 is the project management fee, which needs to come out.
Of which one?
Of
Both, Linda, both St. Mary's has a project management.
that number comes out of the rectory one,
It's
and
for Lent,
the number that comes out of the church
for Lent.
is $32,540.32, and the contingency of $5,423.39.
All right, I'm confused because there's background noise going on. I know it's muted now, but I'm confused. I need to
Well,
know,
it's-
you're taking out what from the church, just the church?
Neville, you raised your hand.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Can I just make just a general suggestion, please? Because we do operate by Robert's rule. And don't speak unless the chairman call you. Raise your hand like I do. Because I think in the confusion, I am like Linda. I'm not hearing what is going on. But from what I understand, what I had mentioned, Linda, to start this process was, can I just open up a discussion? I started off with the rectory. And the discussion that I had was to find out, was in their proposal, was there a fee for the project manager?
Yes,
And I
there
was
was a,
told yes. I was
Yes, there
also
was.
told that there was also a fee for the project manager for the church project. And then,
that is correct.
right, in addition to that, I was told there was a contingency fund of $5,000 for one of those projects. I don't know which one.
It was for the church.
For the church.
Yes.
Not the rectory.
No,
Not
not the
directly.
rectory. There was no contingency in the rectory one. In the rectory one, there was a project management fee of $93,781.50. In the rectory, there was a project.
That was the rectory. Wait a minute. You just said the rectory was 93,000.
That's
What's the
correct.
one for the church?
The one for the church, the project management fee was $32,540.32, and the contingency was $5,423.39.
All right, so if we take those out of take it out of the church, what does that leave? Just simplify this.
I think that the number comes out as to $131,835.21, according to the calculator that Ben and I have here.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Because if they're asking for 200 and something, and you take out about 38,000, that does not leave 131 at the church.
You're taking out $93,781.50 out of one, and $32,540.32 out of another, plus a contingency of $5,423.39 out of the. So those three numbers is what you're taking out, because that's a contingency. And it's
Okay, but they're separate projects. I just want to know the final on the church, the final on the rectory.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, can I help here?
Tim.
What?
So we've already taken a vote on the rectory. So what I suggest we do is make a motion to reopen the rectory and reduce the rectory amount by 93,000 and the contingency of 5. I'm still a little unclear what project that's on.
Church.
That's on the church.
So let's reduce, reopen the rectory and reduce that by the 93, and then that one will be off the table.
I'll second your motion, Tim.
Thank you, Mark.
Any discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Neville?
the 93,000, if I am right, is the rectory. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, the 93,000 is the rectory. So we're taking them. So the motion was to take the 93,000 out of the amount that we had funded for the rectory.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Which leaves what figure?
Hold on.
93,781.50 cents.
625,991.50.
You can't
Hey,
go
that'll
that fast, Eleanor. What is it?
$625,991.50.
Okay, and if you do what Neville just said, and you take the, whatever it is, 37,540 and 32 cents out of the church.
We gotta do one at a time. I don't think we should move on to the church.
We're just talking rectory right now, Linda.
Tim, your hand.
I'll make the
hands up,
motion.
Tim, your hand is up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Linda, we already have that motion and second on the floor, Linda.
Okay, so that final figure is 625,991.50.
I think so.
Yes.
Right. Now we gotta take a vote on that one.
I need a motion.
You have it.
You have it
Okay.
already.
All right,
Tim?
then by roll call. Neville?
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Carries unanimously.
All right, what's the other figure then if it's 37, 5, 40, 32?
Well, there is no motion to fund that yet, Linda. So the church has not been, there hasn't been a motion to fund the church.
I know, but I want that final number after you take the 37, 5, 40, 32 off it.
Okay, I thought it was 32,000. Confused.
It's $32,540.32 plus $5,423.39 comes off.
So that, oh Jesus, my computer. Sorry. I'm really sorry. My computer just went,
So
ah.
that's 37,963, 64, and 70, 71,
One.
71.
Minus,
37,964.71.
and then minus
Which
something else.
Which leaves what?
No, there was another figure. There was a 5,000 something.
No,
Yes,
that was
that's-
included in what he just said.
Both
Two
figures.
things.
All right.
Two things to come out are 37,941. And
No.
Yeah.
Run, that's not the figure you
the
just
two
said,
things that
Jen.
come out at $32,540.32 and $5,423.39.
So that's the 37. Okay, so it comes out to $226,934.49.
You're saying it
I'll
too
make that
fast.
mo-
Sorry, $226,934.49.
I'll make that motion.
Your second
Second.
discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
All right, so how much does that free up total between the
Put
two?
out the birds too,
What?
when you finish.
Mr. Chair, can I ask one question before that starts?
Joe, go ahead.
Thanks. Is this the only one that has a project management fee in it? I mean, is anyone else hidden? You know, is James Lyden doing the thing and he's getting project management and overseeing this thing? I mean, I really just want to be careful before, I'm not disagreeing with what Neville found. I just want to make sure that everyone has been vetted and everyone's on an equal playing field. That's my only question.
Most of the other guys are they have internal management.
No, I
Church has nothing.
no,
They
and
have
I get
Zippo.
that, but James Lyden is not part of the organization. James, Joe Padell, like there's a bunch of other people that have given estimates. There has to be a project management fee or something, someone's coordinating with them. So that's why I'm just making sure we're all talking about the same playing field. That's my question.
We have funded them in the past for anybody who's new. We have funded them in the past if it's an organization that can't do anything on their own because of what kind of organization they are. We have funded project management before. It's when we have consultants, certain types of people, certain types of contingency funds, certain types of Nantucket premium kind of stuff. That stuff we've never funded. But there
That's-
have been occasions in the
correct.
past where we have funded project managers because you can't do the project without a project manager because of the complexity. So I wouldn't take a project manager away from taking that brick wall in the back of the NHA off either. Thrift shop usually handles their own in-house.
Tim,
Athenaeum doesn't need a project manager. Cemetery doesn't need a project manager. There's some in here that don't need them at all. They're just because of the scope of the work.
Tim, and then Neville, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not to disagree with Linda, but I think what drives the question of whether we support contingencies or whether we support project management seems to be how much money we have to give. Some years when it's lean in the past, we've really looked at contingency fees and project management fees as a way to spread the pie around with other applicants. I haven't done a good scrub of the applicants to look and see if this year we were going to be in that position that we needed to, as Neville did rightly with the church, to see if there's some other dollars we could wring out of the applicants to help give other applicants. And I think before we finalize this, I don't think we should do it today, but Joe's right. If we're going to talk about removing these funds from one, we should remove them, or at least have the discussion to remove them from all.
What does the committee would want to do? Neville?
Mr. Chairman, I think that, just want to make one statement before. In the past, I mean, when the way the project is written up in the proposal, that fee is blatantly out there. We had that years ago when we first started, when the housing Nantucket started. One of the questions that we asked them was, we were paying for someone to be in the office, and we were paying for their rentals and everything. What we kept asking them every year, year to year, on their whole proposal, which included all of that, they said that what they will like to be, they would like to get to a point where they can afford to pay for their own rent and afford to pay for their staff. So we supported them until they were able to do this. This was in the very beginning of our organization. Very rarely had we seen, so we used to see that in the proposal itself. Very rarely had we seen, or have I seen, in the proposal, blatantly a fee was asked for a project like that. If it, I'm gonna just say this without me accusing or anything. If it was in there, it was hidden very well, you know. But this is a blatant thing, and I think that I think this is I think that we should not give them this fee for this project, and I don't think they will be hurting for that. That's all I have to say.
Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't really want to use the word blatant, but I think that they are just being thorough in their accounting. And the other ones, I think, in looking at those proposals, I want to say they kind of just did a round, you know, here it is, here's a dollar number. I don't think it was as thorough and as broken down as we would hoped. You know, the St. Mary's one, Steve did a phenomenal job in breaking that down for us. So there could be fees that, like Neville said, that may not be shown, and they may not be that lineup. That's why I'm just saying, if we're going to do this to the St. Mary's, it shouldn't be in. If we do it to anyone, we should do it to all. That's my point. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well,
Perhaps we should take another look at all of them in view of the issues that we have just been discussing. What does the committee feel about that? Neville, you had your hand up, and Linda,
I agree with
had
you,
your hand
Mr.
up.
Chairman, because what Joe said, you know, he's I agree with what he's saying, because in some others, like the NHA is asking for monies for transportation and housing and all of that. We should go back and do a second round of the things that we have here and look at it again,
Linda, you've got your hand
if
up.
everybody's willing.
As I said, going through them, and I agree with Joe, they're not going to be called out necessarily if they need a project manager. Many of them have in-house project managers, and many of these projects, these smaller projects, do not need project managers. This is a very large project. The project manager, quote unquote, is for the back wall of the candle house is going to be an engineer. That's not something you can take out of the equation. A project, and they're going to manage the project themselves. A lot of these just simply don't have project managers, like the cemetery and the shipbuilding and stuff like that. They do everything in-house. As Norville said, these are pretty out there because they broke it down that far. And given the scope of the rectory project, that's a big project. So I don't think everybody's going to be in that boat. And I didn't notice anything glaring about anybody else, but that was a big ticket item on the rectory.
Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I agree. I think that there are certain aspects of a project. The rectory definitely needs a hands-on, someone there managing every day and accounting and doing all that. That is necessary. You know, do I think the ship modeling? No, there are organizations that do not need this, but the South Street Church, I think a lot of that management and trying to get the bell tower fixed and properly, you know, the hangar created. I think that that's going to take some coordination because they can't do it in-house, as Linda says. So I just, maybe it's a quick, you know, email to certain organizations that we know saying, do you have a fee for a project manager? Yes or no. And if they don't, then we just move on. And if it's St. Mary's is the only one, then so be it. And I just want to make sure we are clear and transparent because the public is watching us. So thank you.
Neville and then Mark?
Yes, I agree with that totally. That's what we told, when we spend our money, we make sure that our money is being spent on the projects. But also, one of the things that we also try to do is, if the organization can, that's why we ask the organization to first pay for it, then come to us and just write in detail what they have paid for. Some of it may not fall within our scope of payment. I was going to say that the NHA, for instance, I believe they have a fee for housing and transportation of $110,000. We can decide if we're going to pay for that, or if we're going to take that $110,000 off of that for their projects. We can discuss that now, or we can go ahead with where we are now, but we must discuss this going forward, which will take us back to the way we used to operate. We didn't pay for fees, for people's fees, and we didn't pay for salaries, you know, unless there was a vote of the whole board because it was something new when these things happened. I would like us to see us go back to that, so we're all participating in this, rather than take everything for granted. But if we do that, and if we continue in the way that what Joe had mentioned, it takes us back to, it took me back to the NHA, asking for transportation and housing in the amount of $110,000 and $110,300 for transportation and housing.
Yeah.
Linda, you need to unmute yourself.
If I don't know what the goal is here of this, if you take the $131,745.21 is what I came up with, it could be off, and you add that to what we have left of $659 and change, that gives us that gives us almost $800,000 to play with between the church, the 226 and change, and the racquetball club.
That's not the
So-
math I came up with, by the way, but
What
I
did
don't
you
wanna-
come up with?
a much lower number, but don't rely on me. I really think we need to take the time to do this right. I came up with given the 3.875. I came
Yeah,
up with.
minus the 32.15.18, whatever that is, and that gave
No,
us
you got-
659.
You add
And then
those
you take
back
the-
in, Linda.
Yeah, you add back in, I took the 4 million, I added back in, just knowing the 4 million is what the total ask is. I added back in $1 million, I added the original ask of St. Mary's for both projects, and then I subtracted the thus approved asks. And what I came out with, given the 3.875 that's actually available, is 263, but don't rely on me. I've been going back. and forth between
I don't
18
get that figure at all. So I think we need to go
I
back
could be
and
wrong. I
between
don't wanna
now and the
go-
next one.
But because it's discrepancies, I think we need to do this more carefully.
Well, then we need to, if we're gonna do this, then everybody needs to take the time between now and whenever our next meeting is. And do that, and then we'll get the figures straightened out. And by then, maybe I'll have a better figure from the state, but Brian said today, that's what it is right now.
So can I jump in, Mr. Chair?
Absolutely, Tim.
So prior to removing the fees from St. Mary's, I think I have it correct that we had about $659,000 left. And out of that $659,000, we had two projects left to talk about. We had the church project for whatever it was, 264, and we had the racket club for $1 million or whatever that number was. So rather than make this complicated, I think that we should go with the numbers we have, which was the 659. We can leave the fees in or out. It doesn't matter what the majority want. If we take them out, we should fund the two projects with what we have left today. And then we should call another meeting after we know what the state's going to give us, because we may find that we have more money than we think. And by then, we can ask staff to look at the applications and make sure that there's no fees, travel, housing, contingencies that can be removed if we need to. But I think we're trying to pin it down today, and there may be an opportunity to fund things at a higher number if we just let the state get their number to us. So that would be my suggestion, to wrap up the two with the money we have today, and then it not be a final vote, that we schedule a meeting after we hear, and we can tweak things up or down depending on what we find.
Neville?
Yes, that's it. That's all well and good in a suggestion. What is the deadline for having our warrant? Does anyone, Mr. Chairman, do you know?
There
Well,
isn't one.
There isn't one. We were in the past, we were constrained by the fact that it had to be done before a timeline because of the need to get it approved at town meeting. That is no longer the case, so we don't have that same deadline. So my feeling is that my gut would say I would rather wait until we get the number from the state before we doing something, because I think it may have a significant effect on what we're going to be able to do. And I'd like us to be as clear and crystal clear as possible in terms of moving forward. Joe, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, going back to Neville's point about travel and then the 32,000 change and $93,000 and change, you know, if we earmarked and held those, in that we came back when we got the state's final number, and if we had to bring those back in, we bring them back in. I think that'd be a wise thing to do. I think if we can get as close to having everything finalized, I think that makes more sense to me. You know, and if there's more money to go into the racquetball and Linda Loring, you know, I think that there's some other project we can kind of work around. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
But the things that you just mentioned are two items that we don't pay.
Right.
So they would not be there for consideration in any event.
Right. So you're talking, so, you know, that number of, if we put it back in, we could be around $900,000. You know, we were at 659, 6572 or 5. So, you know, we could be up to another 900,000. If you put those numbers back.
800.
Well, if you add the travel and NHA travel and all that stuff as well.
Well, keep in mind that each project is very specific and very particular. If you have to bring equipment over, you have to pay for that. Because there's a lot of staging that's going to be involved with that thing and a lot of engineering with that back wall. So you can't parse that out. If we're talking about St. Mary's and the father cannot cannot manage that project at the rectory. It's a huge, huge project, all four sides, including that fence, which is registered in Washington. There are some things that they can get around and some things they can't get around to even do the project. So if we're going to parse out these, then as Ken said, we should take the time to parse them all out. But I hesitate to tell you to just throw stuff out willy-nilly because it's particular category when you have to look at the equipment and stuff coming, because we did pay for it over there at Fair Street. You have to look at the equipment coming, what it means to a particular project, not just because it's in a particular category. Look at the relevance to that specific project, because without X, Y, and Z, maybe they can't do the project at all. So I want you to look at this organically for each and every one of them, if that's where we're going now.
Neville, you've raised your hand.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The other thing that we have to be very careful about, Mr. Chairman, is us getting involved in dictating or getting involved in these projects. The only thing that we have for these projects are the proposals. In the proposal, if there is something blatant in the proposal, like fees, which we know we cannot do, transportation and housing, which we know we are not responsible for any project, those kind of things we can take out. We cannot get into like how the project is done. But the way the project is written up, if they wish to come to the CPC and fund the project, but in funding the project, they also want to pay for the consultant. They also want to, the consultant is coming over, we want to pay for housing for the consultant. We don't do that. We want to pay for food and transportation or whatever it is we don't do any of those things. We fund the project itself. Anything else goes to the project, goes to the project itself, goes to the project manager, whoever the project belongs to.
Whatever organization is.
Whatever the organization is.
Yeah. Eleanor, you have your hand up.
Very easy.
Just to differentiate, please, by transportation, are we just talking about transportation of workers? Because obviously, as Linda's pointed out, and as someone who deals with this for the land bank, mobilization, bringing over equipment, materials, etc., that is technically transportation. So is that something that we discount or do not include? Or please just specify for me, because I'm new, what you mean by transportation.
Neville?
What you need by transportation is if transportation is asked for in the proposal, transportation and housing on the NHA for the person doing their project, we don't pay that. What Linda was talking about, and she is absolutely right, but that has nothing to do with us in terms of the specs of the staging, who handles the staging and all of that. If they put that in the proposal, that the person who will be handling the staging and bringing it over, we have to give them some money. We have to really look at that, because that's a whole separate fee other than the fee for the project itself. The project will require staging. And we had to do it. We had that with the library. When we did the Athenaeum needed staging. It was put off, I think, for a year or more, because once they put it up, then they had to go back and find out they could not do it in the winter. They had to do it in the summer because it was all wood and the wood was rotted. So they had to hold back. All of that, we didn't pay for any of that. We just paid for the project that had to be done, the replacing of the corner boards, the replacing of rotted wood, etc.
No.
We didn't pay for the staging and how the staging was brought over, how the staging was put up. We didn't pay for any of that. That was there.
Yes, we did actually.
No.
Please, first Joe, and then Linda, and then Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I think just as, Ken or Glenna, if you could write a letter to everyone that's here that's requesting money, just a clarification, just to make sure, if they have that fee in there and they've kind of lumped it in with another, line item, then we just need to make sure that that's been transparent and open and that we see all that. So, I think it'd be easily settled that way.
I don't think we need a letter, Joe. We just review it, and if it doesn't belong, we take it out. Linda, you have your hand up.
I don't want to get lost in the weeds. As I said, some of this travel stuff is necessary because of the equipment, and we did pay for the staging because we got two of them to work with a church and another project where the staging went from one project. I think it might have gone from church to church. It went from one project to the other, to the Congo church, and they were able to, sort of offset each other on the staging. So yes, we do pay for the staging. Yes, we have done that. I just don't want to get lost in the weeds here. The things that we're looking for, contingency fees. Anytime somebody puts in a Nantucket premium, which is usually the contingency fee, we take those out. I didn't notice any contingency fees except for that one that Neville pointed out. So if you're going to go back through these things, you're looking for contingency fees. Sometimes a consultant fee if you don't need, what is a consultant? The project manager, again, make sure it's particular to that project. Engineering fees we pay for. So there's certain things that we do and certain buzzwords that we don't. So be very careful when you're looking through this stuff that it's not particular to that project and not just wipe everybody out when you can't wipe some of these out. Contingency fees gone. But as I say, you're not going to get a contingency fee on the cemetery. You're not going to get a contingency fees on the ship models. There's certain things that are just no-brainers. So if we're going to do this exercise and parse this out and get into the weeds on each one of these, be careful what you're looking at because sometimes you can't separate them. But as Ken said, some of these are just built into the project. So if we're going to go back and ask everybody that's applied, do you have a contingency fee in there that we don't see? And do you have project management that we don't see? Then that's what somebody said, that we should send it out, but I don't believe we should. I believe Ken said we can figure it out ourselves by looking at the parsing it out.
It is our job to do that. It's not our job to go back to them with respect to that.
That's right.
Neville.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Chairman. I just want to give a little example for the new people. Just an example. Please, just bear with me for this. We had a project that we funded for the town for the street seascapes. And if you read, I know everybody did, you read the proposals, you see that there were 2 or 3 or 4 fees there for people who were doing research. They were doing different things on the research. One was researching for this, one was researching for that. If everyone remembers that, fine. That is how it was written up. If it was written up this way, for the infrastructure underneath, we're going to charge $10,000, and out of that $10,000, they broke it down and said, out of the $10,000, $3,000 is going to go for their lunch. $2,000 is going to go for their housing. We would take those fees out because we don't pay that. They didn't do that. They just put one fee down for that particular project that they are doing. That's all we need to know. The only reason why these things stood out is because they asked for it. They asked us to give us money for that, and we do not give money for that. That is all I'm saying.
Okay, we only have the Zoom until 11 o'clock. We need to get stuff wrapped up in terms of what we need to get done today.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we fund St. Mary's Church at the new amount with removing the contingency fee and the project management fee. I think that number was around 226, Eleanor, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that.
I've lost it now. I've been trying to recalculate other stuff. Sorry. Should have written it down. I'm sorry.
So I would like to make a motion that we fund St. Mary's at that number reflective of removing those 2 items, Mr. Chairman.
It was 226, 934, 49.
Is there a second to the
I'll second that motion.
discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor by roll call, Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Tom,
I guess.
Joe,
Yeah, I feel that way.
Diane,
With Tom. Aye. Jesus.
This is like town meeting.
Yeah,
Linda,
I feel like Tom, okay.
chair votes aye, carries.
Now, if you
Tim
take
vo-
the, if you take the, oh, Tim, yeah, if you take
Tim
the
votes aye.
93, 781.50 off of the rectory, that takes it down to 625, 991.50.
I think we did that, Linda.
No,
But
we
I'm-
didn't vote on that.
I thought we did.
what's
We
that?
talked,
We did vote on that.
We did. Yeah,
okay, all right, so that's
everything is done
done.
on the church.
I'm
And then we
sorry.
gotta figure out how much is left.
Wait, I'm listening to Conan, just a second. The last one we have is the racket club. Neville,
Mr. Chairman, that's what I want to get to. If you don't mind, you said since we don't have a deadline, we do not know what our matching is coming from the state. The only thing that we have left is the racket club. Is it possible that we can hold off on the racket club until we find out what we have coming from the state? Because then we might be able to fund the whole thing.
And what we know we actually have.
yeah, we don't have, there isn't a deadline like there has been in the past because of the timing of what needed to be approved with respect to a vote by the town. So
Yeah.
what we could do is we could, at this point in time, make a determination that these are what we've determined to date. We hold our recommendation until we get the information with respect to the last piece. And once we have that, we reconvene and then make a final determination with as to how we want to move forward, if that is the pleasure of the committee.
So moved if that's the motion.
Now, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Did you want to allocate, like, I think Joe said it, we should go ahead and allocate what we have to those, to, what's remaining to the racket club. Because if we do this correctly, Eleanor, you got your calculator, sort of, sort of?
Go, just give me some straight math and I'll punch the numbers. Go.
Okay, 3875, 3,875. Minus 3,215,992.50.
$659,007. Let me go
Yeah.
slowly.
Okay, all right.
659,707 and 50 cents.
Okay, take off 226. Yes, see, this is where it's gonna get complicated. Take off,
Oh, you're right, Linda.
yep. We take off 226,934.49.
$432,073.01.
One more time on that, Eleanor?
432,073 and 1 penny.
Okay, then take off 93, add back in 93,781.50.
525,854 and 51 cents.
One
I
more
will
time.
make a motion. Okay,
One more time. 525.
854 and 51 cents.
all right, I will make a motion to give that amount to the racket club for the moment.
Linda, one
Just-
more. You're forgetting one. You want to add back in the 37 also.
No, I already did that because we didn't add anything in to begin with. We didn't have it in the air at all because we hadn't put the church in. So I just put the church amount 226,934 in. So
Okay,
I'd make a motion to give 525, 854, 51 cents to the racket club for the time being. Just to get that on the table.
I would second that.
Discussion with respect to that. Hearing none, all those in favor by roll call. Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Can't vote,
Tom,
Recuse.
can't vote.
Joe,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
Now, the only thing we have to keep in mind here is that we're gonna probably have to come up out of somewhere, whether it's reserves or not, or whether it's because we readjust coming from the state. We're going to have to put in from somewhere 45,000 into affordable housing from somewhere to get to the 405 figure that we have to allocate to affordable housing. So just keep that in mind. We may be able to adjust that depending on what we get from the state.
Diane, are you raising your hand? No.
Because
No,
we've met
I
our 10% everywhere, except for affordable housing, and we're 45,000 short, but we can find that somewhere.
Okay. Neville, your hand is up.
No, I was just gonna say that's a good idea, because I'm sure we'll find that 45 in our matching funds that we're getting back from the state.
Okay. So what else do we need to achieve this morning?
Oh, we got to the finish line.
Sort of.
Okay, we need to find out when available dates.
Yeah,
Neville, go ahead.
Exactly.
We have a regular meeting next Tuesday. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you want to combine our regular meeting and do the second round deliberations at the same time?
Absolutely.
I'm seeing
So-
thumbs up.
What's the meeting time? Is it 9 or 10?
10
It's at
usually.
10 o'clock.
Yes.
If we,
Neville?
I was saying that if we get the amount from the state, that'll be great.
Yeah, and we're working on it. I talked to Brian this morning and he's still waiting for it.
That's not an easy one to get from the state. In the past, it's always been a pain in the wherever.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I tell you,
Stuart-
the
I know
amount of
Stuart is
money,
having yeah, he doesn't know yet either, so.
no, but the amount of money that we have, then we have to figure out, I have to work with Kathy on that. We have to figure out what money we're trying to to take back. So that's what we're working on now.
Take back from where, Linda?
The people that have reserves left in their projects.
Okay, and right, okay. And add
We're
to the
working on that.
pool of money that we have.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Actually, Kathy hasn't been doing that. Glenna has been doing that every year.
Kathy has the idea. The other thing is that Eleanor wanted me to check on reserves, because that reserve fund seemed to be pretty low in open space. I'll go back on that.
Neville?
Chairman, I'm gonna just say, because I'm used to doing that, but that's my job. I will get in touch with my projects, and I will look at them and see what monies are left over, and I'll ask them if they want to from a year or more ago, and see if they want to return it.
Okay,
I
and
think in the
just
past,
remind
that's how
all
we
the
did it through the
commissioners
project managers.
To
Here's
remind
the
all
issue.
commissioners, that is your job as well.
Yeah,
Neville,
what was
very
it?
valid
The
point.
issue, Mr. Chairman, the issue is that the figures that we have in the office do not appear to be what Brian has in his office. That's why I need to go sit down with him from whatever Kathy and Glenna come up with. And I'll go sit with him and see, because he's got stuff all the way back to 2006, which I thought we wiped out already. So that's why I want to make sure that ours jibe with what he's got in his computer.
Okay, thank you. If there is nothing else that anyone else would like to raise today, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
And is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor by roll call, Neville,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.